Alright, today's video is about exponents, okay, and all the rules that go with them. I'll be giving you a definition of what exponents are, some rules that we have with exponents, and then also a few examples of how they're used in algebra problems. Okay? To start, an exponent is just shorthand for multiplying something by itself multiple times. So for example, if you had 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that would be 2 to the 5th, and the exponent is this number up here. Okay, so it's just a shorthand way of saying you're going to multiply the same thing by itself multiple times instead of having to write it all the way out in a problem. It makes a lot of things really easy for us. Just makes it simpler. Okay? There are certain rules, though, when we have exponents that we need to take into account for. First, if you ever multiply things that have exponents, okay, that are the same, so let's say we've got a here times a, and a is raised to the x power and the y power, and if we're multiplying those things, you're going to add the exponents. So you're going to get a to the x plus y. Okay? The same thing can be said for those that divide. Okay? So if you had a again, right, and you were dividing it by a, and a was raised to the x power and the y power, you would then subtract those exponents. So you would get a to the x minus y. And those are the two most simple exponent rules. They're the ones we use the most often. Remember, when you add and subtract exponents, they do have to have the same base, okay, and the same exponent to add them. Okay, so you can't do a squared plus a to the third, but you could do a squared plus 3a squared. Okay, we learned about that in our like terms video. Okay. The next rule for exponents, okay, is that anything raised to the first power is itself. Okay, that's called the identity rule. Okay, so anything that's raised to it just one time is just itself. Okay, another rule is the zeroth power rule. Okay, anything raised to 0 is 1. Okay, that's any number, a negative number, a positive number, variables, all of it. It all equals 1. Okay, so anything raised to the 0th power is 1. The next rule is called the power rule. Okay, and you see that when you have something with exponents, or anything really, in parentheses, raised to an exponent. Okay, and what you do is you distribute that exponent to the other exponents. You multiply. So you're going to end up getting a to the 4th plus b to the 4th. Okay, the final exponent rule, okay, is the inverse rule, okay, and that says that if anything is raised to an inverse power, it becomes 1 over that thing, okay, and vice versa. Okay, so if you've got 1 over x, okay, you can rewrite it as x to the minus 1. Those are the rules we have when we deal with exponents in algebra, okay, and we're going to now use some of them in our examples over here, okay. So in both of these, we're going to simplify. We're going to try to have the most simplified answer. So in this one, we need to combine terms. Okay? That's my way of saying we need to get all the x's together and all the y's together. Okay? So I like to start on top and then do the bottom ones and then see if anything else needs to be simplified. So let's combine all the x's on top. And remember, since we're multiplying them, we add the exponents. So x to the 2 plus 1 is 3. Minus 2 is just x. Y squared plus y to the 3rd, or times y to the 3rd, that ends up being y to the 5th because we add the exponents. Down here we've got 1x, it's x to the minus 1. And then we've got 5, minus 3 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so we end up with this. Okay? But we're not simplified yet. We still have 2 x's and 2 y's. So we want to simplify the best we can. Alright, and so we need to use the division rule and also this rule right here. Okay, this x to the minus 1 can be flipped up. Okay, and when it does, it's going to be x times x, so it'll be x squared. And then we can use the division, or the quotient rule for this one. Y to the fifth divided by y to the third. You're going to subtract the exponents, and you'll get y squared. And that's the answer. It's simplified as much as you can make it simplified. Okay? In this next problem, we're going to use the power rule. As you can see, we've got an exponent that's on the outside of all of these in the parentheses. Okay? So we need to multiply that exponent by every other exponent in the parentheses. Notice this 2 here does have an exponent. It's 1. Okay, remember the identity rule. Okay? So I'm going to multiply -2 by all the exponents, and I'm going to get 2 to the -2 times b to the -4 times c to the 4th times z to the 6th. Okay? Generally, we want to have our exponents positive. Okay? That's just the way that we want everything written in math. Okay? They don't always ask you for that, but just for this example, we're going to put them all positive. So all of our negative exponents need to be flipped down due to this rule. Okay? Make them a positive exponent. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip this down, and I'll get c to the 4th on top. That one's staying up there. The 2 to the -2 is going to come down here, and if I evaluate, it's going to become a 4. And then this b to the -4th will become b to the 4th, and I have z to the 6th still. So that'll be my answer for that one. Okay? So when we deal with exponents, remember there are certain rules we have to follow. Okay? There's the multiplication rule, the quotient rule, the identity rule, the zeroth power rule, the power rule, and then the reciprocal rule. Okay? Using these tools, you'll be able to solve any exponent problem without any issues.